What is going on YouTube? So I wanted to give you guys an update on my 2006 Mitsubishi Evolution 9. We are just going to make a quick walk around and go over some of the minor things I've changed to the car since my last video. And the most obvious change, if you guys can't already tell, are the wheels. I had to roll the fenders and quarters, which wasn't a fun process, especially with the front ones, because they are aluminum and they have a really bad habit of actually warping the entire fender. Like, they will crinkle up. So I just made sure to go over the lip with the fender roller multiple times with very light pressure, and I would just slowly apply more pressure and make multiple passes over and over and over. The rear quarters weren't as bad because they're actually steel instead of aluminum, and you can apply more pressure without having to worry about them actually wrinkling up. So they are just slightly rolled. I mean, they're rolled enough that when the tires tuck in, if I do have any rubbing, it's going to be on the actual fold itself and not the lip, so I don't have to worry about shredding tires. And up front, I noticed when I was watching the car, I was looking inside to see if maybe this was a black plastic overlay that went over the original chrome emblem, and it was actually just a sticker. I just took a heat gun to it and peeled the stickers off, and I actually prefer the look of the chrome silver emblem versus the black. So I did do that, and I restored the calipers. They look a lot better. And I'm not sure what else I've done to the car since the last video, but I'm just gonna go over the things I've done to the car since I've had it. And that was adding on the carbon fiber door handles and the mirror caps. And I did put on this Evolution 9 emblem on the back. Other than that, I don't think I've done any interior tours of the car, so I wanted to show you guys the interior and these floor mats, which they are diamond plated, but they're aluminum, so they're pretty cool. Front of the car, or the front seats I should say, the only thing really aftermarket is just the e-brake handle, which got this anodized aluminum blue color shift knob, and we have the blue dash overlay, which is pretty nice. And I have my triple gauge pod right here, the air fuel ratio, boost, and oil pressure. But these are just the factory GSR Recaro seats. This is the 5-speed car, so I don't have the fancy MR emblem right here, but we do have a 5-speed, not the 6-speed that comes in the MR, and the 5-speed is actually preferred, so got that going for us. But the interior of this car is pretty clean for 2006. And these wheels, I think they were 17 by 9s with a plus 35 offset, and I had to run a spacer to clear the Brembos. And then since these are unilug, the factory studs were sticking out from the spacer because the spacer I'm using has its own studs. So I had to cut those studs down so the wheel would actually fit flush up against the spacer. So I had to do some work to make these wheels work, but I'm happy with the way they look. I think it gives the car a pretty good stance. It's got some poke. And the car has BC coilovers, so I may, especially with the fenders rolled now, I may lower it down some more. I'm not sure, but I like the stance right now. And I mean, unless I'm driving it very aggressively, and this was actually before I rolled the quarters, but I took it to 421 the snake, and you can see it did rub, so that's fixed now, so I can actually drive it more aggressively without having to worry about blowing a tire out. But it did rub into the tire, which that's fixed now, so that's also why I'm considering lowering it some more. I don't know. I've had some people tell me it looks good the way it sits, and I agree with them. I mean, it does look good, and it's functional too. You know, it is a rally car, it's all-wheel drive, so I don't know. You guys comment and let me know what you think, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. But looks like we have a piece of dust. The only thing, eventually, I don't know if I want to sand this down and re-clear it, or sand it down and just re-wrap that, because it's not that bad. But it's still an eyesore. It's like the worst part of the car is just the spoiler. Oh yeah, and I've also been going through some revisions with Tom Swingler III with TS Comp Tune, and I'll give you guys a brief overview of the build on this car if you haven't seen my previous video. But this car is a fully built 4G64 block factory Evo 9 head with HKS 272 cams. The block has a Manley Turbo Tough billet crank. We have Eagle rods, H-beams, and Lasco HD pistons. And it is all paired with a FP Green turbo, which is a very small turbo. It's barely an upgrade over the factory Evo 9 turbo. So I don't know why somebody would spend the money and go through the effort of installing such a small turbo. But anyways, when I bought the car, it was tuned for 15 PSI, and I got a hold of TS Comp Tune, and they are the ones that originally tuned this car. And the only thing holding it back at the time was it was still running the factory boost solenoid. So we went with a Mac 3 port, and we had to route the vacuum lines the way Tom wanted me to, and we have it sitting at 23 PSI right now, and the car is supposed to sit at 25, but he sends me a revision every 3 weeks. And I keep blowing them up. I'm getting frustrated with it because I think we're 2 revisions away from being finished with it. So if there's any Evo guys watching, just let me know who you guys are tuned through and how the communication is and the revisions and how fast you get them. Because as soon as I get a revision, I hammer out a data log immediately afterwards. So I try to do it as soon as I get a new revision. That way, I know they're at the computer, so maybe they can go ahead and pull up my file and look at it and tweak it out, but that's not the case. I have to wait weeks, and I have to I just feel like a burden, having to constantly message them, but it's just poor communication on his part. So, I don't know. I've heard a lot about Chag Tune, so I might consider them, because I just want to have this car running. I'm not expecting it to be a race car by no means, especially with the FP Green, but at least 25 PSI. I don't know. And if I do even waste the money on a retune, I might as well just upgrade the turbo. I might go with the FP Black because that's still a stock frame housing turbo. Bolts right up, so I can literally just unbolt my FP Green and put the FP Black on, and then send her on her way with a new tune. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much the new update. I wanted to really show you guys the wheels and the interior, because I feel like I didn't go over that in the last video, but it's just factory Evo 9 stuff, nothing major. One cool thing is about the speakers, I took this car to a car show and I won those, so I figured that was pretty cool. But yeah, there's that. Anyways, thanks for watching.